And we've alluded to this already, which is the complexity of this as a parameter. And this is really important to understand. Here we've got performance sitting in the middle, and we've kind of bounced around this. We've suggested, look, it's immunological. We've suggested about the red S and energy intake to energy expenditure. We've suggested about the physiological and even the psychological factors here. And they all have an interplay. You can see them. Injury, if you've got an injured athlete, performance goes down. We've got infection. But you can see how they're all connected, that infection is connected to injury is connected to psychology, and it has a direct effect on performance. But injury has a direct connection to training load. We know there's evidence if you have an excessive increase in training load, you're more susceptible to injury and infection. We know that training load, in some part, affects infection. We know that infection is also linked to changes in immunological status. It's linked to hematological status. So it's a multifaceted component and variable. And understanding that all of these affect performance and therefore can affect how an athlete manifests underperformance is really important. And in fact, the author's gone to write this. Synergistic interactions assist in explaining how seemingly insignificant factors in their own right exert disproportionate importance and effect. It might, for example, explain why previously acceptable training stress levels in conjunction with other stressors combine to the pathogenesis. It also highlights the individual variability in susceptibility to UPS and the fluctuations within the given individual. In other words, one of these on its own is probably not a problem. Maybe two of these, sociological impact and maybe kind of a psychological impact on their own aren't a problem. But when you start to get more of these impacting, so you go to the athletes in the Olympic Village, they've got psychological stress. There's a sociological stress because you're living in a different environment. You've got dietary stress because fundamentally, despite the fact that they can eat quite well in an Olympic Village, it is a different environment. You've got changes in kind of sleep. All of these together, it's not surprising that a lot of athletes get an underperformance effect because they now become more susceptible to illness and infection.